Okay, so for our lesson study, we chose to do grade 8 mathematics in the shape and space, and the outcome we chose was develop and apply the Pythagorean theorem to solve problems. So the idea of our lesson was to have students use their Pythagorean theorem knowledge to apply it to situational questions. So we came up with a scavenger hunt idea where they needed to solve questions involving the Pythagorean theorem and then apply those answers to work themselves around the school and find examples of right triangles in different rooms in the school. From there, we would take the pictures that they found of the right triangles and put them onto the computer and allow them to find the right triangles and make their own questions from the triangles they found.
So when we started going through, just to see what we were kind of change if we were to teach this again, we just started at the beginning kind of with deciding what students would need to know before they went about doing this activity. And so we went through and we decided that they needed to know basic understanding of kind of the Pythagorean theorem, such as the principal square root, when they use it, why, and kind of how to use it. Basically, Pythagorean theorem application for right triangles, and also how to use it to solve right triangles. They also need to know the difference between an integer and an irrational number. And also an important part of that they would need to know before is how to productively work in partners or small groups, because that's a large aspect of the scavenger hunt, is being able to work cooperatively with other students. As well, we kept our adaptive dimensions basically the same, except we did add one in that depending on the school policies, that students may also be able to use their cell phones or iPads for the activity. Instead of having to use a camera, they could take their pictures with their cell phones, upload them onto the computer that way, or even with their iPads. With the different understandings, one thing that we felt that students that it needed to be a larger focus on was the relationship between the three sides of a right triangle. And so that's just one of the aspects that we kind of would want to incorporate more in so that students gain that understanding. In terms of essential questions, these ones stayed basically the same. We just decided that we might swap the order a little bit of some of them, but that students, they would definitely, one would be to identify the characteristics of a right triangle. And one of the other ones that we added in was asking students what name they would give to the relationship of right triangles. So the formal name is the Pythagorean theorem, but if students had kind of developed their own name for it, such as a right triangle relationship, that would also work for that question and that aspect of it. In regards to the different performance tasks and evidence of that they've actually been able to complete this activity, one of them was that we would, for backing up their responses in the pictures that they took in their scavenger hunt, that we would want to make sure that the answers that they gave were actually applicable to what they wanted. So we added an example in here that we could potentially give students when they're going through trying to figure out that part. As well, so for the other evidence as well, that they can give relevant examples.
Okay, and then for the set development and closure, we are watching a YouTube video, and we decided to also add in, like, review the properties of the Pythagorean theorem, and also use manipulatives, so that students can better visualize it and actually use the diagram and maybe even construct it on the geoboards. For the development, we decided to add in the mathematical processes so that we would know which ones the students are actually using during the process. We also decided to add in, like, explaining to attempt the Pythagorean triple summary question at the end of, it's kind of like a bonus question at the end of the scavenger hunt, and then discuss it after it's been completed. And again, the mathematical processes. We also, I think, changed that we wanted to do part 1 of the scavenger hunt with the students as an example so that they know what they're doing. And then for the closure, we decided to discuss the concept of Pythagorean triples instead of explaining it before, and use the example first strategy so that students could kind of develop their own thinking on what it was and maybe either correct what it was or expand further, and then show an extra normal Pythagorean video to wrap up the topic, and then again add in the mathematical processes.